Well, we have to find every piece of legislation, every position, every broken promise, every failure of that governor and the democratically controlled House and Democratic talk about it every single day. We put out news releases, we get people to write letters to the editor, we get people to call in the talk shows, and they are talking about the difference between the soft rhetoric of those that just sound like Republicans and are really Democrats, and the Republican philosophy that really does resonate with blue-collar working people who understand the pressures, now more than ever, understand the pressures of taxes and big government. You know, as part of that, and I suggest to you in New England, we are probably more guilty than any other region of the country. We have let the Democrats really steal constituencies that genetically should be Republican. I'll use Massachusetts as an example. There is no reason an Irish Catholic in Massachusetts or an Italian Catholic in Massachusetts should ever vote for the Democratic Party. But we have forgotten how to ask for their votes. We have forgotten how to campaign there. And we have let the bad habit become a disastrously bad habit. I suggest to you there's the same analogy in virtually every Northeast state. And there are constituencies that fundamentally are conservative who have forgotten that there is a difference between the parties, and that when they vote for Democrats, they're really voting against their own self-interest. You know what group, by the way, voted against their own self-interest more than any other group in the 2008 election? It was folks under 35. They fell hook, line, and sinker for platitudes and style over substance. Think about it. The President of the United States is advocating health care reform. You know what the purpose of health care reform, as the Democrats are pushing it through Congress, is? It really has one purpose. It's to get 14 million young people who have chosen, because health care insurance is a bad bet for them, is a bad move financially, for whom all they need is a very inexpensive catastrophic policy. The whole purpose of the legislation that's going through Congress is to get 14 million people to cough up to $3,900 for health care insurance to finance the money hole in health care in America. And these young people are beginning to understand it, but we have to keep telling them. Because on top of that, this president they voted for has already saddled them with his $9 trillion added deficit, with 250,000 to 350,000 extra taxes over their lifetime just to pay for his huge, huge additional spending packages that he has shoved through Congress. Part of what we need to do in New England is to remind those young people, and they're really young people from all over the country. They go to colleges here, and you know the impact of the college vote in each of our states in the last election. We happen to be a magnet region for higher education. We've got to start communicating to them that it is not smart to vote against your own self-interest. Finally, let's talk a little bit about what's happening nationally. Barack Obama got elected because with the help of a very liberal press, he was conveyed to the American public as being charismatic and smart. Well, 1/2 out of 2 ain't bad. I will say this, national press will probably be shocked about it. But in terms of politics as a tool for improving the lot of your constituencies, in terms of politics as having a philosophy that makes sense and figuring out how to implement that philosophy, we have the least smart president of the last 100 years in the White House today. Let me explain that. This is a man that's afraid to lead. What did he do with health care? He said, I need health care. I wanted to do this. I wanted to do that. Oh, by the way, Pelosi and Reid, you guys figure out the details. And whatever you send me, I'll sign. That's not leadership. That's what you do when you are afraid that you really don't understand the issue and you want somebody else to study it hard for you. This is the man that came into power saying he was going to fix America's leadership around the world, whatever that meant. And what he did is he went on the first thing he did in terms of national security. He went on the apology tour to Europe, apologizing for America, aggrandizing himself in the eyes of leaders he hoped, sacrificing respect for the nation, and what did he get for it? It doesn't translate very well, but what he got was, will you tell him what that means, The Europeans were not in love with George W. Bush, but even though they didn't like him, they respected America. Now the whole world loves Obama and has absolutely no respect for America. That is what we have to tell people has happened. That's why we have to change Congress. That's why we need Republicans to move back into the positions of power. Let me go a little bit further. Classic example of what's wrong with this presidency took place last week. This trip to Copenhagen tells me two things. One, there really is no smarts at the top. And number two, there's a bunch of crooked, unethical, self-serving cronies sitting around him in the White House that shoved him to Copenhagen to make a ton of money. We need to talk to our friends, to our neighbors, on the radio, through letters to the editor, through gatherings like this, through town hall meetings, through tea parties. We need to talk. We need to get good candidates to run. We have to help them raise money. We have to raise money for our party. And we have to spend the next 13 months saving our states, saving the Northeast, and saving America by guaranteeing a Republican victory in 2010. Thank you very, very much.
Participation, because we actually have a phenomenal political mind with us this morning, and we want to have him share some of his mind with us. So questions and specific ideas or questions on how we do win those individual, congressional, local, civic, federal offices at all levels.